Discover surprising AI progress in the Middle East, focusing on Saudi Arabia
When it
and
comes to
beyond.
the Middle East, I see a lot of progress. Not all the countries are able to invest as well as Saudi Arabia, but some do. So, for example, Qatar is advancing quite a bit. Emirates has advanced a lot. Um, Turkey has been also making a lot of strides along this front. Yeah, these are the countries that come to mind. I've seen a lot of production coming out. Also, Iran. Iran has
All right.
advanced quite a bit.
So of course, like you said, everyone they say AI, they think United States or China. But there's a country out there like is making great strides in AI that people not might know about, like some kind of random country out there, like, oh wow, they're not at all at the United States China level, but like, okay, they're doing some good things that feels AI that you're like, okay, this country, I don't believe it.
I mean, definitely Saudi Arabia. I invite you to look at this global AI index. I was surprised the other day to see that it's the stopping the leaderboard, actually above China and the US in terms of strategic planning for the government. Right. So I think part of it is the way the US government is decentralized makes it harder to create alignment sometimes. Um, but that's not the case for China. So I was a bit surprised, but it's interesting.
And you said you were born in Egypt.
I was born in Egypt, yes,
How often do you go back to visit?
pretty much every year.
Every year, okay.
Yeah.
And like, did you like immigrate to the United States? Can you talk about how that worked out? Like,
Yeah, so around 2010, right before the Arab Spring, I, I decided it's time to start my PhD program. To also, my daughter was on the way, and we moved to the US. That it was a pretty big moment because where you live dictates a lot about what you learn, your experience in life. So I spent a few months in Seattle area with Microsoft Research. I was then working for Microsoft Research, doing machine translation research, and then I started my PhD program at Carnegie Mellon University. So I moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. One of one of my memories in Pittsburgh is, first year, I believe, uh, I had a pretty old car back then, and the snow, I wasn't used to the snow, so I had to, like remove the snow of my car, and then my daughter was kind of like pushing buttons inside the car, and she got herself locked, and it's like I had like a panic moment.
the worst parents, the parents' worst nightmare, right?
Yeah, and I experienced like the beauty and wonder of calling the fire department, and like they're opening the like in 5 minutes the car was open and no windows were broken. It was pretty cool.
Nice.
But yeah, so I guess to answer your question, yeah, I moved to the U.S. mostly because I wanted to go to the best university for artificial intelligence, and I think I did.
So what got you interested initially in AI?
Sorry, what's the question?
What got you interested originally in AI?
It's actually genomics. I did an internship in IBM back in 2006. Even before then, 1 year before, I was in Procter and Gamble, and it was just like project management. Basically modeling the factory processes around production of the powder that's needed, like for the detergent. We wanted to map it to a digital form. So that was like my first experience with like the idea of mapping a real world model into a digital replica of it. But we didn't do any AI with that. And then following year, we did with IBM. I learned how to build machine learning models, train machine learning models that predict things about our genomic sequences. And of course, I had to learn about the DNA, how it works, and all of this. And it was interesting. And then I came to the realization that not only can we program what's happening in real life using functions like like code that we write, we can actually write the structure, write the model that will learn how these things happen by observing the environment. It's kind of like foundationally important. So I couldn't like resist the idea that I should abandon the other direction which I was working on, security. Cyber, it wasn't called cybersecurity, but at the time, but basically wireless sensors. You have a lot of wireless sensors roaming in the environment, and you're basically trying to secure them so that an attacker does not like dominate and like take control over your resources. So that I was focused on security, and then when I learned about AI, I just couldn't resist switching my focus. Also aligned with an opportunity in Microsoft research that opened up. So I was like, yeah, I'm taking it.
So a lot of people are concerned about, AI, data security. Like, is there a way to prevent, like, to protect data or privacy with AI? I mean, to me, it seems like it'd be kind of hard because, like, once you get on your serial phone, hey, I'm Jason, whatever, 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 they have the information in the database forever, right? So how do you protect people's data? I mean, is it possible to even do that?
So there are two pieces here. Like, so you're talking about how can AI help us with security, or are you saying how do we secure the AI models? Because these are
Yeah,
two different
the
ways.
second one.
Okay, so AI models, are vulnerable. Like, there's no way around accepting that when you adopt a new technology and rely on it, you're introducing new vulnerability. So, including, all the things that we use in our homes, for example, to like camera, detection or whatever. Once you start relying on this thing to secure yourself, you become vulnerable to the flaws of this new technology, right? And it's really a question of how are we gonna approach this? Like it's a never-ending game, like between attackers and defenders. And my cousin Hani Ammar works as a senior cybersecurity analyst, and it's every conversation I have with him, I'm learning about how AI is being used in his organization to secure systems. Of course, he's on the defender side. But the same way, it's also used by the attackers in order to have more complicated attacks. So, for example, when you look at your phone to unlock it, well, who knows if this is your face or somebody wearing a mask? There are definitely companies that are focused on addressing this problem. So, trying to tell the difference between is your actual face or a mask that looks like your face, or is the photo? But it's a pretty hard problem.
So what's the call? I think it's called singularity when AI can think for themselves. Do you think that's coming sooner or later, or you think that will never come? What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's a distraction. I don't